Attention passionate Green Bay Packers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Green Bay Packers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Green Bay Packers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Green Bay Packers fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying close attention to the NFL landscape lately, especially the NFC North, you've probably noticed that things are heating up in a way that could really shake up the division standings and ultimately the playoff picture. And for the Green Bay Packers, this is a moment of both challenge and opportunity. The recent move that's making waves involves none other than Dontavian Wicks, the young wide receiver who, as many of you know, has been a bit of a mystery in Green Bay. So let's unpack this story, look at what it means for the Packers, what it means for the Falcons, and how this could reshape the division as we head deeper into the season. First, let's set the scene. The Packers, as we all saw in Week 1, are a team that's still trying to find its offensive rhythm. Jordan Love is in his second year as the starting quarterback, and while there's a lot of hope riding on his shoulders, the supporting cast has been somewhat inconsistent. Wicks, drafted in 2023 in the 5th round, was seen as a player with high upside, a guy with the potential to develop into a true deep threat or a reliable target over time. But the truth is, in Week 1, Wicks only saw 22 snaps, ran 9 routes, and was targeted just twice. That's not exactly a ringing endorsement of his role in the offense early on, and perhaps that's part of why the Packers are now open to moving him. For those of you who follow the Packers closely, you know that Wicks has shown flashes of talent. Last season, he ranked 4th in ESPN's open score at 84, which is a pretty solid indicator of his potential. Yet his catch score was 0, tied for the worst in the league, highlighting that while he can get open, he's still working on catching consistency and overall game development. It's a promising profile, no doubt, but it's also clear that Green Bay might be willing to part ways if they feel they're not getting the full picture out of him yet. Remember, the Packers have a deep roster and a lot of young talent competing for playing time, so sometimes, a change of scenery can be a win-win. Switching gears now to the Atlanta Falcons, who, as you all know, are in a bit of a tricky spot at the wide receiver position. Their top receiver, Drake London, left Week 1 with what seemed like a shoulder sprain and is considered day-to-day. That kind of injury can be costly, especially early in the season when chemistry and rhythm are still being established. With Mooney already out with a shoulder injury, the Falcons are in dire need of depth at the wide receiver position. Enter Wicks, a player who, despite limited production in his first 2 seasons, still carries a ton of upside. He's young, athletic, and has shown that he can get open. He ranked 4th in ESPN's open score last year, which is no small feat. The question is, what would a trade look like? Well, given that the Packers picked Wicks in the 5th round of the 2023 NFL Draft, it's reasonable to assume they'd be open to a similar return. A realistic deal might involve a 2027 5th-round pick and a 6th-round pick, allowing the Packers to recoup some draft capital and give Wicks a fresh start in Atlanta. For the Falcons, it's an opportunity to add a player with potential at a relatively low cost, especially considering the current injury issues with London and Mooney. Because if Wicks's upside materializes, he could easily become their WR3 and even push for more targets if things break right. Now, looking at Wicks's stats, they're modest: 39 catches for 415 yards and 5 touchdowns last year, but that doesn't tell the full story. He's a guy with a ton of athletic ability, and if Jared Goff or even a quarterback like Desmond Ridder can unlock his deep speed and route running, Wicks could very well surpass the 600-yard mark this season. The Falcons are betting on his potential, and at this point, that's a pretty smart move. Depth is key in the NFL, especially in a division where injuries and unexpected surprises happen all the time. Adding Wicks means they're not just filling a roster spot, they're investing in a player who could develop into a real difference-maker. On the other side, for Green Bay, trading Wicks makes a lot of sense. They haven't used him much so far, and with the team's current roster and the draft capital they could get back, they're effectively turning an unutilized asset into future picks. That's smart roster management. The Packers have other young receivers and a developing quarterback, so reallocating a player like Wicks to a team that needs depth at a reasonable price could be beneficial all around. Plus, it gives Wicks a chance to showcase what he can do in a different system, potentially unlocking the talent that made him a fifth-round pick in the first place. As we look ahead, it's clear that this kind of move could have ripple effects beyond just the two teams involved. The NFC North is fiercely competitive, with the Lions, Vikings, and Bears all looking to make strides. If Wicks finds a role with the Falcons and starts to produce, it could shift how defenses prepare for Atlanta's passing attack. And for Green Bay, freeing up roster space and draft capital means they can focus on plugging other holes or developing their young core further. It's all about smart moves, strategic patience, and identifying opportunities when they arise. Now, I want to touch on the bigger picture here. The NFL is a league of constant change, and the best teams are those that adapt quickly. The Packers have shown that they're not afraid to make tough decisions if it means improving the overall roster. Moving Wicks in this case fits that mold. They're looking ahead, thinking about the long term, and doing what's best for the team's future success. Meanwhile, the Falcons, who are trying to capitalize on their talent and make a push for the playoffs, see Wicks as a low-risk, high-reward addition. This trade saga also highlights how young players like Wicks are so crucial in today's NFL landscape. The league has shifted toward emphasizing speed, route running, and athletic upside, and Wicks fits that mold perfectly. His potential to develop into a consistent threat is what makes this story so intriguing. If he can find a system that suits his skill set, he might finally start to put together the kind of season that makes NFL fans sit up and take notice. And let's not forget the coaching aspect. The Falcons have a new coaching staff that's eager to get the most out of their personnel. They've shown willingness to develop young talent, and Wicks could be the next project that blossoms into a reliable weapon. For Green Bay, they're building around Jordan Love and a young core, and sometimes that means making tough decisions about players who haven't yet hit their ceiling. It's a delicate balance, but one that could pay off in the long run. So, as we watch this story unfold, keep an eye on how Wicks's role in Atlanta develops. Will he become a key piece of their offense? Will he finally break out with a few big games? And for the Packers, how will this move free up space or draft capital for future needs? These are questions that will be answered in the coming weeks, but one thing is for sure, this kind of transaction exemplifies how dynamic and unpredictable the NFL can be, especially in a division as competitive as the NFC North. Now, for the fans of the Green Bay Packers, this is a moment to reflect on the team's strategic approach. They're not just passively watching the league, they're actively shaping their future, making moves that could pay dividends down the line. Whether it's through draft picks or developing their young players, they're building a roster that can compete at the highest level. And even though Wicks's departure might sting a little, it's all part of the bigger picture, an ongoing quest to bring another Super Bowl trophy to Lambeau Field. And now, Green Bay Packers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this move? Do you think trading Wicks is the right call? Are you excited to see what he can do in Atlanta? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Packers. We love hearing your insights, your predictions, and your passion. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, more analysis, and the latest news from Green Bay and around the NFL. So stay tuned, keep that passion alive, and let's keep supporting our team no matter what happens on and off the field. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Pack Go!